Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Bellingham. I am Marie Bailey. I'm your service assistant today. And today our minister is...
Good morning. I'm Reverend Frank, for those of you who haven't met me. And I did put a talk title. It was in the online. Of course, I turned that in 3 weeks ago before I was on vacation for 2 weeks. So it's going to be a little different than that because stuff happens, right? So the talk title is We're All Emigrants Now. We're all immigrants now. You notice the shoes. Yeah, you're starting to make the connection, yeah. Well, more to come. Yeah.
And our music ministry today is Cheryl Hodge, the marvelous Cheryl Hodge.
The breath of God is breathing me and lying in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The love of God is loving me and lying in the love of God. I know that all is well. Joy of God is joy in me and lying in the joy of God. I know that all is well. The breath of God is breathing me and lying in the breath of God. I know that all is well.
And now, as we move into our time of reflection and meditation, if there's anyone who could use support, feel free to speak their name out loud. And hold them in your consciousness as I read this excerpt of a writing by Jeff Foster. Trust. And if you cannot trust now, then have faith. And if you cannot have faith now, then at least bow to the doubt. And if you cannot bow today, then just let everything go. And lay under the still moon, or let the warm ocean caress your feet, or weep at your favorite song until your tear ducts run dry. In the end, we are all stripped down to the bone, to presence. We all lose everything, fall, and we are invited to begin again, moment by moment, moment by moment. That's all there is. Rebuilding a life an instant at a time. And now let's settle in for meditation. I invite you to close your eyes if they aren't already, or keep the gaze soft. Most likely, you've arrived from a world that moves fast, that asks for more than it gives, floods your senses, and scatters your nervous system. Maybe your body feels tight. Maybe your thoughts are loud. Maybe your cells are tired from holding too much. Yet, you're still here. Let us begin to move into a different space now. A field of slowing, softening, and remembering. A space where healing doesn't need to be earned or nothing needs to be fixed. Where your cells are already listening for the signal to return to balance. Let this be the moment your body says, I no longer need to carry it all. Let this be the moment to return to the quiet brilliance that has always lived inside of you. This is a space of anchoring, a space for remembering your residence with this earth. Let this be an inward turning, an attunement to the internal rhythm of your body and being. Now let us find the breath. Feel your connection to the breath as you gently inhale and exhale. Feel your connection with the ground beneath you. Feel yourself open and allowing, steady and centered, internally steady. Rest back, empty, like a blue sky. Pure capacity for experiences to move through. Every cloud that comes eventually goes. As the sky, you can let it all come and let it all go. You know this place. It's the part of you that feels familiar. It's the part of you that can never be diminished or destroyed. Pure, steady, and timeless, like the sky itself. Rest here. Feel all the energies of your body from all meridians activated, purified, and balanced. All channels are now open, and the life force is flowing freely, healing the body, calming the mind. Open your heart and feel content. And now gently coming back into the room. Feel your body resting in the chair. And when you're ready, softly open the eyes and let the room lovingly come to you. Feel the mind held in a quiet, meditative state for a few more moments. Breathe in and breathe out.
Very, very grateful that I get inspiration now and again to write songs celebrating this. Thank you, everybody, for helping me stay inspired. And Reverend Frank and all of you, thank you so much, everybody. Here's a song from off of the new CD. This is called I Am Open to the Universe. I am open to the universe. I'm engaging with the universe. I am open to the universe and all its gifts. Hay fever. Well, I'm not dragged by the universe. I am open to the universe. I feel the lift. Why walk in silence? Our heads held down when healing rays of sunshine are all around, confronted by our troubles. We miss the truth. The healing power is inside. Just set it loose, 'cause I am open to the universe. I'm engaging with the universe. I am open to the universe and all its gifts. I am open to the universe. I'm not dragged by the universe. I am open to the universe. I feel the lift. We'll walk together. Why question why? We're part of a process, just like the tide, regardless of stormy weather. We'll find our way and walk in the knowing. Embrace today, yeah, 'cause I am open to the, sing it with me. I am open to the universe. I am open to the universe and all its gifts. I am open to the universe. I'm not dragged by the universe. I am open to the universe. I feel the lift, yes I do now. I feel the lift. One more time. I feel the lift. Thank you.
That's a great album if you haven't gotten a copy yet. Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah. It's always, some Sundays, I tell you, by the time I'm up here, I'm like, I'm kind of done. It was really, the first half hour was really rich. Thank you for the music, for the meditation. It occurred to me that there's this rhythm to a day and a rhythm to the year, a rhythm to our lives, even, and we sort of mimic that in our service, from starting with some silence and planting a seed, and then that seed turns into a blossom. I feel like sometimes by the time I'm here, they've handed me this blossom, this blossom. So maybe part of what I can do is take that blossom and offer fruit. And there's a sense that in our morning that turns into afternoon, that turns into evening, and then, the night, this rhythm, the same rhythm of the year, this, sometimes it feels like a time to go in, which is our truth and our deepest reality, and then to take that, to loosen our hearts, I think you said in your meditation, to soften our hearts, and then to take that gift and manifest it as something that the world so needs and so wants. And so my talk today is, we're all emigrants now. We're all emigrants now. And the word emigrant starts with people who leave. They're called the emigrants, E-M-I-G. When they arrive into a new place, they're immigrants. And what I want to say is we're emigrants now. These are the classic stories, right? I mean, even going back to Hebrew scripture with Moses taking the people out of Egypt. But the hero's journey, there's a zillion stories about the hero's journey. And when you get into a book and you start reading, and you pretty soon find the main character, and the character's having a normal day and not much is happening, and all of a sudden something happens. And you're like, here we go. The adventure begins. And now the world has changed. It's as if they crossed a threshold. And I want to suggest that every time we come through those, you come up to Unity of Bellingham and you see that beautiful green wall, and you open those doors, or the doors are open, and you step across, you've crossed a threshold into a Unity of Bellingham experience. And then we're here. And now the adventure begins. And it changes us. It asks of us. It questions us. And every time we cross that threshold into here, and not just one threshold, by the way, you might be walking out in the woods. And I suggest you do this. Next time you're just going for a stroll out in the woods. Notice something. Notice a rock, a tree, a formation, a cairn, a stick, anything. And just consciously going, I'm walking into the woods, and here's my threshold. And as I step forward, I'm now entering into a new experience of heightened awareness of what's possible for me on this trip. You know what I'm talking about, the threshold. Sometimes it's little thresholds, like I'm walking into the woods. Sometimes it's big thresholds, like I'm getting on that plane and moving to Bellingham. Big thresholds. Today, I want to talk to you about thresholds that are right here. It's, big adventures are great. We read the stories of the big adventures, but sometimes the adventures don't have to be so grandiose to still be the adventures that revolutionize our experience in our lives. There's a poem I want to share with you that I think kind of gets to this point, and really sort of, when I read it, it's from Donna Makova. It's, I will not die an unlived life. Maybe some of you have heard this poem before. And I'll do it sort of slow. And imagine in this poem, this encouragement to say, maybe I need to get off my comfortable couch, cross a threshold and expand into some new potentiality of my life that brings new level of joy, that brings new levels of request of courage, new levels of moving out of my comfort zone into new place to know the truth of my soul and what's being asked of me. Yeah, I will not die an unlived life. I'm going to say the words that Donna Makova said, and just see if these words resonate in your own life. I will not die an unlived life. I will not live in fear. I will not live in fear of falling or of catching fire. Either one. I will not live in fear of falling or catching fire. I choose. I choose to inhabit my day. I've thought about this all week. I choose to inhabit my day. Each day so precious. To allow my living to open me. To allow my living to open me. To make me less afraid. More accessible. To make me less afraid and more accessible. To loosen my heart until I am a wing, a torch, a promise. To loosen my heart, to make me a wing, a torch, a promise. Yeah. I choose to move forward on my day such that every blossom that is provided to me, I send it forth. Every seed provided to me goes forth as a blossom. And every blossom, I send forth as fruit. Yeah. I will not die an unlived life. And of course we think, well, I'm living the fullness of my life. I have a story for you. It's a very simple story. Diane and I, as you know, I've been gone for a couple weeks. We went and saw Joy graduate. Yay. She'll be here through the month of July, so you guys can all see her. Maybe we'll get her to speak one Sunday. And so we took a lot of lifts. I think most of you know a Lyft. It's a car ride service. You look them up on the app. They give you rides. And all sorts of people. What I love about Lyft is these drivers, you just don't know, especially in Boston, it's international, man. And you don't know who the driver is where they're gonna be from or what their story is. Half the fun of Lyft is just meeting these drivers and seeing what's up. So this young man picked us up, and he said he was from the Dominican Republic. And he was doing all sorts of stuff. He was telling us about everything there was to do in Boston and and the baseball park and how Red Sox and all this stuff he's been to. And he said, one of the things that makes me sad, he was talking, is he said, my parents came from the Dominican Republic and they moved to Boston and they live in a community of other people from the Dominican Republic and they're kind of speaking the language, and they've made it so that their little community there is just like the community that was back where they came from. And here they are in Boston with a world of possibilities and things to do and things to be a part of and things to experience. And there's a whole practical row of museums. We went to just a few, but it's Boston, man. It's this huge area of possibility. And he said, but my family, no, they stay in their neighborhood. Oh, I will not die an unlived life. And you think, oh, those people. I'm not talking about those people. You know who I'm talking about. And how often do we in Bellingham, it's just a metaphor. I'm not making fun of them. It's a metaphor. How much do we live this life where we haven't yet crossed the threshold out of our comfort zone to go see, which is right outside our door. Right outside our door, just waiting for us to explore and express. And I feel sometimes like, the beautifiers love this meditation, and we talk about our spiritual practice. And yes, to loosen our heart, to be a wing, a torch, a promise, to show up in this life of fullness. And yet, what does it take us to cross the threshold out of our comfort zone and go experience what's new? What's new in possibility? It's interesting, just one little snippet from the Gospel of Thomas, where Jesus says something like this: you need to find the child of love now, the child of humanity now, the one who lives, the one who shines, the one, you need to find that now. If you look for it once you've died, it's too late. Yeah. What are we waiting for? It's time. It's time. And this sense of this deep calling to look at, this spiritual path. Here's where I'm going with all this. This spiritual path. What's lovely about being in Boston for the last 2 weeks and then in Maine was I get so in touch as Americans, people from the United States, in our history. I mean, this is foundational place. The founders, the Liberty Bell, the original, the Continental Army moved through here, the whole story. And so getting ready for this trip, I went onto the History Channel and I watched a great little piece by George Washington. I don't know if you've seen it on the History Channel. They're playing it on Prime. I don't know anyhow, a lot of these old stories are playing. I don't know about you, but I love that period. The late 1700s, American history and everything that would happen. And George Washington coming and forming the Continental Army. And they were going to take on a king, right? We wanted liberty and this sense of freedom and this sense of representation and take on a king. And they formed in the Second Continental Congress, you see this in there, they formed this army, the Continental Army. And these people, and this was a year before the Declaration of Independence was written, and it's a decade before the Constitution is written. But deep inside, these people, we will not die an unlived life. We will not live in fear of falling or of catching fire. We are on fire. There is something here about standing up to a king and standing up to ways that we feel do not represent our life and our freedoms and what we want, how we want to show up in the world. So they formed an army a year before. And these people, you see with George Washington, what a brilliant, I don't know how he did it, hold these people together. Most of them died of starvation and disease. Valley Forge, there was no food. It was a long winter. And they moved on. A lot of vets in here. Thank you. Army, Navy, Air Force, all of you, thank you. For this contribution being in this line. So I have a question. And we look back and go, well, that was 250 years ago. And have you ever asked yourself, if I was alive in those days, would I have stood up to the king? Would I have stood up for our rights? Would I have stood up for a vision, a different vision? Would you? I mean, do you ever ask yourself, am I going to be the one? If I was there, would I have been one of them with that much courage? Yeah, so there's still a chance to do that. You can still stand up to kings. You can still, and the celebration of the 250th year of the Continental Army, you can still stand up and say, I can say no kings. I can say yes to living a new type of freedom, to what's available, to what's possible. We can still do that. Thank you, everyone in the Army. It's also the 250th year of the Marines and the Navy. Navy people. How many Navy people? Yeah. Oh, come on. 2, 3, 4. I thought you were Air Force. No, Navy too. Yeah. Congratulations. 250 years. Standing up to kings. Thank you for your service. Yeah. And every one of us, if you want, this Saturday, there's a way to show up downtown Bellingham and say, no kings. Celebrate the 250 year of our Revolutionary War army. Here's another way. You want to stand up? We want to say, I will not live an unlived life. I can stand up. I can loosen my heart. A wing, a torch for life, a torch for justice, a torch for the truth, a torch for people. I can stand up for that. And you can do that also. Here's an idea. And what I'm getting at is, what is a way we can cross a threshold and stand up in a new way? What's a way to do that? July 14th, I believe it is, in Pride Day. You can go down to the parade in Bellingham and go see the Pride celebration. I went last year. Lots of churches there. I wore my shirt, choose love. Choose love. There's lots of ways of crossing a threshold. Last night we went for ice cream. We were down at the granary. And I noticed that here in Bellingham, you can sit, and over here there was lights, and there was a party, and there was music, and there was a circus tent down by Container Park. And I thought, just living in Bellingham, how many ways is there to cross a threshold and explore something new in this town? Explore something vibrant, explore something beautiful, explore something that may be transformative to our lives, in art, in music, in food. I mean, it isn't Boston, but oh my gosh, Bellingham, there's so much. When we start with the seed and we have a blossom. But the thing is, friends, the blossom has to fruit. We need to show up in our lives for ways that make sense for the gospel, that make sense for the gospel, that make sense for love, that make sense for transformation, that make sense for compassion, for temperance, to say no to intolerance, to say yes and not worry and know that there could be fear there. But I will live a life without fear, yeah. And that transforms, that opens our vista to what's possible for our freedom, for our life, for our love, for our neighbors, for each other. And that's the ask. So I'm going to end by asking you, and you can pair up in fours, I think fours. And we're going to just take just a few minutes. And within there, I want to challenge each of us to say, I want to find a new way. We're immigrants now. We're immigrants now. And the way it has been, let's not get too cozy and let's not get too comfortable. Let's put on our walking shoes so that seed comes to us, we move on as blossom. And what comes as blossom, there was a reason for the apple. We move on as fruit. Yeah, we move on as fruit. That's our calling. So in your group, in Parapet 4, it's a very simple question. Without leaving Bellingham, or include Ferndale and our local environs, it doesn't have to be downtown Bellingham. I know some of you come from over. We're not including Maryland. It's Maryland, yeah. For those of you who travel. I want to ask, how do we bear fruit? What is something that we can do right here? The meditation, the prayer, the lifting up of our consciousness, the lifting up of our soul, that's blossoms. It's got a fruit. We need to go out. We need to be present. We need to be unity. We need to choose love. And when we choose love, that shows up in our feet. It shows up in our actions. It shows up in our walking. It shows up in our art. It shows up in our color. It shows up in our voices. It shows up in our writing. It shows up in our movement. It shows up in building trails here. It shows up in building trails other places. It shows up with working with homeless people. It shows up with working with elders who are lonely. It shows up in so many ways. What is one way that you say, and I'm going to commit to this, over the next year, right here, in the city of Bellingham or Ferndale, right here, Blaine, that I am going to show up in a way, unafraid, choose love, and express love. It could be like, I'm going to go to that restaurant, and that's fine. Just move out. But it could be more. It could be, I'm really going to do that thing with the homeless. I'm really going to show up for Pride Week. I'm really going to open myself to meet new people. I'm really going to show up and serve at the senior center. I'm going to find one way. I'm going to fruit. I am going to fruit in my city, in my place. Okay, I'm watching the clock. Just a few minutes. Find a few people. I see 4 here. I see 4 back there. I see 4 here. It could be 5. And find one way. One more minute. If you haven't had a chance to share, please do. So coming back now, whoever's speaking, finish your thought. Yeah. I'm curious, as we come back to the room, does anybody have something they want to, now having thought about this for a minute, anything they want to share, like something you want to do you've never done before, a threshold to cross, a new thing to try, something right here in Bellingham? Anybody want to share? One thing they came up with? Yeah, I know better. Yeah, John. Ha- Yeah, it's something for the kids, yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna repeat. He says a kids camp, and once a month we're not here. What happens? A kids put on the service. Ooh, I'd love that. Yeah. Okay, thank you, John. Yeah. Anyone else? Something that you want to do, take a chance that you haven't done before. I heard people want to go to Pride camp, Pride parade. I haven't done that before. Anyone else? I know there's others. Yeah. Oh, right. Coming to Unity for a first time. That's good. Thank you. Bringing someone to Unity for a first time. Yeah. Anyone else? Boy, the chatterboxes I know usually. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's beautiful. So just if you couldn't hear, it just has to do with being involved in recovery programs in a way, and especially being a presence of the divine for other people within that context. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, Jack. Oh. Oh, he said working with incarcerated people who are struggling with addiction. Wow. Yeah. So love to hear from both of you more as that year progresses on how that turns out. Thank you. One more, and then we got to move on. Anyone else? One more person? Something to do right here in Bellingham. Sonia, yeah. You notice Jay Scott's running. That's a big deal. He was in a thing the other day. Healing.
Turned on. Oh, it's on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been doing, a lot of you know, I've been doing a therapy program for mostly kids on our farm, and this week we experimented with school therapists and started doing Rickie on the table with horses, and the Rickie therapist who I met here, actually on a Wednesday night, he wants to start opening that up and doing that regularly, so offering that to adults for healing with Rickie, with the horses.
So with the horses are just in the bound.
You're on a table, and it was really powerful.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
one of the women healed something from childhood. So he says, we've got to do this. So I'm getting brave and putting my opening up to that.
Yeah. Wow, that's a beautiful vision. I've never heard. Sonia, has you ever heard that model before, or is that something that you've heard it? Oh, Instagrams, okay. Yeah, Rickie with the horses
People have been bugging
in the
me
area.
for years.
Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah, and I was just thinking of going to a new restaurant, but these are much bigger. Yeah. So I'll end on this. Let me maybe share the poem with you one more time so you could sink into it a little more. If you want to close your eyes. And we'll just end on this prayer that Donna Makova sent us and see in not only like the ways that we can step across the threshold to be immigrants, to move out and not be afraid and move into new situations externally, also combined with doing that internally and seeing what else needs to be opened up, what inside us needs to cross a threshold. And then in turn, it moves to the outside, knowing that, as Jesus said, now's the time. Now's the time. There's no waiting for later. I will not die an unlived life. I will not live in fear of falling. I will not live in fear of falling or burning up. I choose to inhabit my days, to allow my living to open me, to make me less afraid, more accessible, to loosen my heart until it is a wing, a torch, a promise. I choose to risk my significance, to live such as that which came to me as seed moves on as a blossom, and that which comes to me as blossom lives on as fruit. And we'll just sit with this for a moment in the silence. Yeah, that precious silence. Let me see. Oh, today's second Sunday, which means Earth Care. And for those of you who know, we've mentioned this many times, the regional conference is being held here at Unity of Bellingham. And as a note, and that's why you see so much going on, we keep mentioning this, but I just wanted to say that, I thought about, in the summer, oftentimes we do a class or we do a lot of activities, but there is so much going on right now to get ready for this conference. And I know it's sort of active things we're doing. There's painting. You saw the new paint over here? It's nice, all the paint swaths, and we're trying different paints. Thank you, interior team, for all your efforts, for looking at new chandeliers and new lights and new paint and new transformation. And part of the conference when it comes is we're going to be using a lot of this back area down here. And already, if you haven't seen it, there's trails that already go to the back. We have 6 acres, and trails already extend to the back. Earth Care, we're hanging out after. I don't know what we're doing today. Maybe trails, maybe flowers. I don't know. Jim knows. But all those, if you've never come to an Earth Care meeting, it's a lot of fun. So you can stay after. And whether you want to build trails or do something that's not quite as rigorous, that's fine. We have things for you to do. So that's going on. And by the way, for all those that volunteer, and even if you don't, to get ready for things for the conference, when the conference comes, it's going to be open. There's going to be a great morning prayer, 17, 18, 19 of September, and our whole congregation is involved. And we're going to get tickets for a Daniel Namod concert. That Daniel Namod will be here doing the work. And so he'll be here, and there'll be tickets open for the conference that Thursday night. Oh, and the CEO of Unity Worldwide Headquarters talking about the new Unity movement. We told him, would you zoom in and give us a talk? And he said, Bellingham, Washington? Well, can I just come? Like, of course you can. So he'll be here. And so you get to meet him as well, which is, it's all very exciting for what's going on in Unity. Okay, so 2 things. We have 3 announcements. First one, would you, J. Scott, can I grab that microphone from you? There's something really beautiful that Eugenia shared with me, and I asked her to please share that with all of you. So pass the mic. You have to put it right up to your lips, dear, for it to work. Like almost touch it on your lips.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Last week, Malin did an announcement for a young lady. She's 5 years old, and her name is Vinare. She's from Siem Reap, Cambodia. She came into my son Todd's life. Her mother did ironing and laundry, and she lived right across the street from Todd, and every morning he could hear this angel laughing, and so much joy she brought into his life. Anyway, on June 1st, she developed shingles all across the bottom part of her face. And we have a paper here, and Todd will be here afterwards for if you have questions. Malin asked for prayers from everybody, and for 3 days she had not eaten. They were concerned at first with it might go to her eyes, which would mean that she would be blind. It's very unusual for children to get shingles. She didn't eat for 3 days, so they took her to the hospital, and finally got her to eat, but the shingles had gone down her throat, mouth and throat, and she was in a lot of pain. And after the 3rd day of not eating, she went to the hospital. The day that last Sunday when I was here, and everyone did prayers, and I thank you for that. The next day, her face was half cleared, and now it's totally clear.
And she's back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you all very, very much.
Yeah, thanks for the prayers. That's a good story. Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for the prayers. We'll keep holding those prayers. And by the way, speaking of that, who's our chaplain today? Olga, who we have a chaplain? Oh, is it Malin? Anyone who would like? So, on that note, and knowing how prayers are so effective in transforming consciousness, and then at times it just filters right on through and you see a physical healing as well. But no matter what happens, they always work on the level of love, the level of our psyche, the level of our consciousness, the level of our transformation. So if you'd like, as soon as service is over, in the Love Spoken Here room, Melinda's our chaplain today. If you want just a minute or two of prayer with a chaplain, feel free to take advantage of that. Jen? Sure. Okay. We'll do that right after. Yeah. Thank you, Joanna. She's saying right after service, anyone who wants, let's join with these guys and we'll do a group prayer. If Melinda, maybe you can lead that for right after service. And anyone who wants to join for, what's her name? Vanari. We'll do that right here with this family. Also, we have an update from our friend in Gaza, our family. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
My grandparents came from Croatia, so when you were talking about emigrating and immigrating, I actually happened to wear my T-shirt from Croatia when I went with Koshin Chorus. I didn't coordinate that with Reverend Frank's talk, but it was kind of fun. So I got a message last week from Gaza, from Miriam, the lady that we first got involved with a year and some months ago. And I wanted to read that to you, but it so happens that I lent my phone to my son today. So I think it's best because I don't think I could read it. She was talking about how they're packing up again with the bombs going off overhead and moving once again from their tent, emigrating again. I guess that's within the same country. And taking a couple cans of goods and a pan and their sleeping items. And so that's what's still going on in Gaza. And I just wanted to share something that happened yesterday. So over the year and a half since Sean from this congregation introduced me to Gaza and the people there, I've kind of friended people on Facebook. And there's this one guy who, most people use American English letters to have their name, but this one particular person friend said yes to for friendship only has Arabic, so I don't even know. I tried to get their name yesterday, but he's not even asking for money. He can't because he doesn't speak any English and I don't speak Arabic. But yesterday I took him around to the market, FaceTiming, and it was just joyful for him to know that somebody in America cares about their plight. So as far as the fruit, so many nights and so many mornings I go, what can I do for these people? And I just really think it's really powerful, our prayer and sending angels. I asked for manna, that God send them manna somehow to keep them alive till this crazy war gets over. And one of the guys sent me a picture of their flour had black bugs crawling in it. And then when they baked the bread, it had black spots in the bread. And I'm just hoping that is giving them some protein to keep them alive. It sounds kind of grotesque, but I know lots of people in the world eat bugs to keep alive. So I just think that letters to your Congress people, how you feel about things, emails are really easy to do because I'm not really techie and I can do them. So I think sending angels, prayers, and it can really support people, giving them hope that somebody cares across the world what's going on. Thank you.
Oh gosh, I can't. Let's just do this for a second. If you'd put your hand on your heart. And we know that people are suffering all over, but just for a moment, hold that energy of all the young people, especially all the people, the elders, everybody who is in Gaza and hungry, confused, displaced, trying to make sense of what's happened to their life. And just feel that energy of the divine presence within you. Know that same divine presence is within them. Feel that energy of the unity of consciousness of all of us. One people, one humanity, one divine presence. Although it may go for many different names of the divine, in many different languages, one presence of the divine, one God, one truth, one goodness. It's our first unity principle. Only one presence. The second principle, it is in everybody. Everybody. And so knowing that truth, then with your hand on your heart, open your hands for just a minute and send that energy out. Just that energy of connection. We see you, we hear you, we bless you, and then we listen. What is ours to do? What is mine to do? Let that energy go forth. Yeah, peace, friends. One final thing, on a very different note. Greg, I think it's second week and we have our treasures report.
You guys are a hard act to follow. You know, how truly blessed we all are. Thanks to your generosity, we continue to move forward with a balanced budget for Unity of Bellingham. So, we have a lot of things, as Frank said, we're getting ready for the conference in September. So there's a lot of things that are going on that were not planned for in the original budget. So we're working that, and we may talk to you in the future about some small fundraising things. And Rosemary wants a minute to talk to you about something we have that's current. Just two quick things. As I mentioned last month, pledge cards are always available. If you haven't signed a pledge card, please see Janae, and that helps us in our planning. Second thing, summer months are coming. I know a lot of us are away doing different things, but don't forget Unity. We still have to be here. Thanks. Rosemary?
I just have to take a moment because this Unity family is so inspiring and so generous and so loving. It is just a real blessing to be a part of it. And I would like to invite all of you to join me in a game called Name That Chair. We need more chairs, and because especially we wanted to get some chairs with arms on them for people who really need that. But the cost of shipping was so much that we were going to hold off and not do it right now. And then the gal that we've been working with came back and gave us like half off the shipping. And so we couldn't pass it up to not be able to get these chairs to help ones who need chairs with arms and then get some extra ones. So we'll have plenty of chairs for our conference and for events we have, and we don't have to be moving chairs all over the place. So given that, each chair without arms is $84. The chairs with arms are $112. So if anyone would like to have your name on a chair and know that that is your spot every time, we are so happy to put your name on that chair. If you would like to help contribute toward getting these new chairs, and we have already ordered them, because they will be here in August. So I just wanted to share that with you, and thank you so much for all of you being here and all that you give, all the support. Love you all. Thank you.